course.
Okay.
All right, we want to thank you for tuning in. This is Spirit FM, and I have Adam Villiers. That's how you pronounce it?
That's correct, yes.
All right,
Yeah.
awesome. And he wrote a song called
Show Me the Way to Your Hearts.
Right. And I know that probably a lot of people have actually seen that on the website because we had it on there. And very exciting with Brian.
Yes.
And kind of a how-to play.
Yeah.
And I actually was going to bring my guitar down and play with you today, but I thought...
You should have brought it down.
I was thinking about it, but I thought, I probably shouldn't. So it's going to be great. It's going to be
Nice.
great. Anyways, why don't you tell us a little bit about... you live in Abbotsford?
I do, yeah. Live in Abbotsford.
And what do you do in Abbotsford?
Well, I lead worship for the River Community Church.
Right.
I also have a good job where I'm how should I say, like a technical support
Nice.
for a company that shall remain nameless due to my
Right.
contract.
Ah.
So yeah, it's great. It's I work at a call center and
Okay.
just chat with people all day.
Right.
When they call in, sometimes they're a little angry, so you got to kind of validate their feelings
Right.
and let them know that you would feel frustrated too if you were in that position, and you help them.
Right.
Really, you help them and make sure that they're happy, because when they get an email sent to them from that company asking them how their service was, it's always nice
Right.
to make sure that
Yep.
my stats are high.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
just like all us musicians, we have to do other things. The music doesn't always pay all the bills, and so you're just one of us.
Definitely, yeah. It's definitely a blessing to have a job and to be able to provide.
That is
Definitely, yeah.
awesome. So when it comes to worship at the church you're at and that kind of stuff, what are your feelings about worship, and what got you into playing worship? And
It's interesting because I would have never considered myself to be like a worship leader. I've kind of just, Van, one of the worship leaders at the church, he said, "Oh, hey, I want you to lead." He started with me co-leading with him, and he would make some suggestions, and
Right.
and I would take those on board, and then he's, "Okay, I want you to lead now, and I'll back you up." And so it's been a really neat learning experience, because I'm finding the butterflies are getting less and less, and it's an amazing privilege, because it's great to see people's lives changed by
right.
believing in and coming to know God, but also then just bringing everything to Him in worship.
Right. That's awesome. Awesome. Well, I know that you've had an interesting growing up, and
Yes.
you've had things you've had to overcome, and God has been good to you. Why don't you share a little bit of your testimony that way, and
Nice.
just how God has brought you to where you are now.
Yeah, that's a big story. I guess I could sum it up in a few moments. Is I was born 2 months premature.
Right.
I weighed 2.2 pounds when I was born. I died 3 times when I was born, because my mom was 14 when she had me. She was going through some addictions herself, and I was given up for adoption right at birth.
Okay.
And so lived in the hospital ward for a year, being in an incubator,
Right.
to stay alive. And I had open heart surgery because I had holes in my heart, so
Right.
to fix that up. But the neat thing is, growing up, I never knew I was adopted.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Right.
But the coolest thing is, when my mom decided to tell me when I was 17 years old that I was adopted, I was like, wow, that's amazing, because even though they adopted me knowing I would never walk, the doctor said I'd never walk because I have cerebral palsy.
Okay.
I walked when I was 4. And she adopted me knowing I would never walk. And it's amazing because it gives us a picture of how God adopts us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is good.
And I go, wow, that's neat. And so just going on from there, just fast forwarding, 13 years ago, 1998, I went to Cordova Detox, which is in the downtown east side of Vancouver, of all places.
Okay.
And I went there to get some help. I was struggling with addiction, and I went there because, to put it bluntly, I guess I I weighed just over 100 pounds. Both of my arms looked like pin cushions. And then from that point, yeah, it's been a struggle. It's you know, life is a process, and God's amazing because He can do in a moment what I couldn't even do in a whole lifetime.
Right.
And so the one that's awesome about kind of being able to lead people in worship is I love volunteering at Psalm 23 Transition Society, which has been a great support to me, and reaching out. And worship is about those things.
Yeah.
You know, taking guys out for coffee, praying for people on the streets, giving them food, because that's what God calls us to.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's awesome when I'm up leading worship because I feel very passionate about it, because I go, I've been able to live that out, you know,
Right.
in times in my week where not many people see that.
Right.
And that's really neat, because it's kind of like that storing your treasures in heaven,
Yeah.
right? And so going through that, it's amazing, because I go, God can use, if God can use me, then God can use anybody.
Yeah.
And it's neat because I go, that's the God that we serve.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
definitely.
That's great.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The song "Show Me Your Heart."
Yeah.
What?
Show me the way to your heart.
Oh, show me the way to your heart.
I'm
That's
just
right.
finding out.
No, that's good. You should correct me. What led into that? Like what
Yeah.
spawned that song?
Yeah. I lived in London, England,
Okay.
for 7 years.
Wow.
And for a majority of that time, I worked for Southwest London Vineyard Church
Okay.
in a very unseen way. I just was an administration assistant,
Right.
9 to 5, kind of just doing that backhand stuff for the church, which was fantastic. My friend Pete Beaumont, he's a worship leader there,
Okay.
and it was January 25th, 2005. My mom passed away,
Okay.
who adopted me, and I was there with her when she passed, and it was such an amazing gift because I was able to say
Right.
everything I needed to say to her,
Nice.
and that was a gift. And after that, you know, because life hasn't been perfect, I found that I was using alcohol to kind of numb
Right.
those overwhelming feelings of dealing with the loss and grieving
Yeah.
her passing. I didn't intentionally write the song. I just was like, just going, you know, I wanted God to show me the way back to His heart. God to show me the way to get from where I was to where He wants me to be. And I didn't know how to do it.
Right.
I was like, I don't even know where to begin. This is extremely difficult to process, and I was you know, just making some wrong choices, right? And I picked up my guitar and I just started playing it, and at that time Brian Dirksen was in Europe
Okay.
on a tour, and he's like, hey Adam, because my mom just passed away, he's like, come out to Europe on my tour,
Right.
and come with us for a few dates. I'm like, fantastic, let's get out of here. And I went, and he said to me, oh, why don't you play me something that you're working on right now? Just play me something really current that you're working on. And I'm like, oh, okay. Pull out the guitar and just played that simple, just that line, just show me the way to your heart. That's all I had.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you work on that.
Right.
There's something on that. I'm like, okay. And I explained to him how I wrote it, and he's like, yeah, keep working on that. And I put it down. I put the song down, and I went back to England, and Pete, good friend of mine, he just said, oh, show me something you're working on. And I'm like, okay. Because I wasn't leading worship at the time. I just didn't feel, because I had a disability, and I have always, growing up, thought I was less than.
Right.
But now I know that God can use anybody.
Yeah.
And so Pete was encouraging me, hey, play me something that you're writing, and I played it for him. He's like, I would love to help you write that. And I said, yeah, let's do it. That's fantastic. That's amazing to have someone come alongside and go, hey, let's do this together.
Right.
And it's so awesome because he came up with some fantastic lyrics to the song, and sure enough, we just started playing it, and again, that was many years ago, and
Right.
and it seems like now, you know, with Brian having recorded it.
Okay, so it is recorded.
It's recorded, yeah. It's available. You can download it. It's only in digital download format right now.
Right.
Of course, maybe it might be on a project in the future. Who knows? But it's awesome to lead people in worship with it and see them respond.
Yeah, yeah.
And then go. The drummer's behind me. He's like, keep going. I'm like, man, we've been playing this song for a long time because it's really simple. It's just 4 chords that repeat forever. So it's kind of nice to not have to worry about song sheets and stuff.
True.
And but yeah, it's amazing because I having used that song, I thought I'm just gonna submit it to one specific record company, Ion Worship.
Right.
One of my friends, he's the general manager there, and he knows my history, and it's awesome. I've known him since I was like 10 years old, and they decided, we want to partner with Adam and let people know.
Right.
Sure, I understand that worship is not about a song. It's not about music so much.
Yeah.
Yes, that's an amazing thing we can do. We can gather like 300 people, 3,000 people, and gather and worship, because that's something we can all do together is sing.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I find that worship is about serving other people.
Yeah.
And so then having a song out there, it's neat to kind of be able to then, let people know what God has done in my life.
Yeah.
And how He can do that.
Yeah. Well, I know it's hard to. A musician we're our own worst critics. So it's a hard thing to take your stuff and to step out with it, and even locally it's hard to just, even in your own church, just to get up and play something of yourself, or something like I'm way more comfortable playing other people's songs than playing my own.
Exactly.
And it's only because we're insecure.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I'm excited that you actually are pushing this, and for me, my heart is to see worship music, and especially local people, and I look at locals as being BC.
Sure. Yeah.
And
I'm from BC.
Yeah, that's right. Because there isn't that many artists actually out there.
Not so much.
It seems like there's lots, but there isn't a lot that are actually going for it for God and walking through the right doors, and that are anybody can write a song, but God still has to touch the song.
Well, anyone can write a song, but no, I'm just kidding. I won't go there. I'm just.
So I believe God has definitely touched this song, and so I'm thrilled to be able to interview and meet you, and to know your story and be part of your life, however that may be now in the future. And so I think it would be good to actually have you play the song.
Wow, thank you. And, it's such a privilege for me, not only to be here, but then to have God then touch people's lives through something like this, because again, it's amazing to be a part of something it's amazing to live a life and to do something in life that's actually going to outlast it.
Yeah.
It's going to outlast my life,
Yeah.
Hopefully, people's lives being changed by the love of God.
Yeah.
And by us being vulnerable and on enough to share our stories.
Yeah.
And not leave anything out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I was noticing today, Steve Bell, who's a friend of mine on Facebook, as well as he grew up locally in
That name
Alberta.
rings a bell, actually.
And you would know Steve Bell if you heard his stuff.
Yeah.
He's awesome. But he was saying that too. It was one of his little quotes he had made, was that God. Oh shoot! Now I'm losing it.
It happens to me all the time. I'll walk upstairs and I'll be like, "What did I come up here for?"
That's right.
I don't know.
So if you weren't on camera while you were doing that.
There you go. Exactly.
We're being in an interview.
That's okay. That's okay. That's cool.
Yeah, it's totally gone. So I'll move on.
Okay.
But it was good.
That wasn't awkward at all.
It was great.
It was good.
Thanks. Thanks for that.
Nice.
Anyways, so we are going to move on and actually have you play the song for us.
Thank you.
And,
That sounds good.
Let's do that.
Right on. Let's do it.